In this video, I'm going to show you how to step-by-step build a vision board like this, but I'm also going to show you some of the science behind vision boards and visualization and show you why this stuff works and why you need to do it if you want to hit your goals. Let's dive in. I want to run through a couple things that I actually put on my vision boards in the past that have come true and actually have happened that I believe would not have happened if I didn't have them on my vision board, or at least they wouldn't happen as fast. The first one is our office in downtown San Diego. I had always envisioned an office with a nice skyline view with a big area where we can have community, right? So not just building a workspace, but a community. We have a little basketball thing. We've got an electric dirt bike in here. It's just a very fun, enjoyable space to not only work and get a lot of work done, but relax too, so you don't always feel so overloaded. And we have fun here, and I'll tell you, it is exactly how I envisioned it before. Now, before I had $2,777 per day in collected income. I had a thing that said that on my vision board, and that happened like that. We shot past that goal, but we didn't do that until I had that on my vision board. Now it says 10,000 per day in collected income, and we've passed that. So I have to upgrade that. The fourth thing that I've got was a Ford Raptor. I just bought a Ford Raptor. This Rolex, look at that. Isn't that cool? I don't think that I would have this watch if I hadn't focused on it. The things that you put focus into are the things that will start to develop. Riding in a private jet, I've done this multiple times now, and this is what was on my vision board. And I'm gonna pop up a picture of the actual jet that I was on. Almost identical. I mean, it is crazy how this stuff happens. I have New York City on here. I wanted to hang out in New York City. I think that is a constant one for me. I love New York and I'm always going there, but keeping it top of mind and reminding myself that I want to travel a lot. I want to hang out in these new cities and in different cities, right? Not just staying in San Diego and Southern California. Also, I have a plane on here because I want to get my private pilot's license. I'm working towards that now, and I'm actively taking flight lessons almost every couple days now. Let's now quickly talk about the science behind why this stuff works, and then we're gonna go ahead and do a step-by-step building of a vision board with me, my team, and you. So why this stuff works. So let's talk about the RAS, the reticular activating system. So what this does is if you're in a crowded room and you hear everybody talking, if somebody says Kevin or whatever your name is across the room, you're gonna hear that. So your brain filters through all of this noise, all of this overwhelming chaos that's happening around you, and it's going to pull out the things that are important to you. So right now, if you're not actively thinking about your goals, your brain is not focusing on it and turning it into reality. The reticular activating system is also the thing that when you get a new car, like for example, I just bought a Ford Raptor. Well, now I'm seeing Ford Raptors like 2, 3, 4, 5 times a day, where before it never picked up because it wasn't really in my mind. So step one was me putting it on the vision board. I started to see them consistently. And then when I bought it, I even started to see them more. This reticular activating system is keeping you alive. From the caveman days, it's the thing that if you see a stick on the ground in the woods, your brain might think snake. So it's the thing that's keeping you alive, pushing you forward, and it's always working whether you like it or not. So what do you want in life? Now, let's just take a second before we start to build the vision board. Let's take a second to understand what we want and why we want it. So if you want more money, let's just say that you want to go from $5,000 a month to $10,000 a month. Well, you don't necessarily want that extra $5,000 a month. It's not the paper cash that you want. It's the freedom and the stability and the feeling that you get from not having to worry about paying your bills, from being able to go take a vacation when you want and not feeling stressed and limited by life. So let's just make sure to understand that the things that you want may not be the actual thing that you want. Focus on the actual feeling. Now, that doesn't mean you can't go get a materialistic thing, but I just want to let you know that if you go out and you buy a Lamborghini because you feel like that's going to make you happy, it might not. So really take some time to determine what you actually want and think long-term on this stuff. Now, let's talk about the size and the depth of your goals, right? One thing that I made a mistake of on my first vision board was I was thinking way too big. I have a podcast called Thinking Bigger. I'm a big proponent of thinking big, but if you cannot subconsciously believe something, it will not happen. So the Wright brothers, when they decided that they wanted to go fly planes, they wanted a flight, right? That wasn't even a thing then. Nobody thought that was possible, but the Wright brothers believed it and they found a way to make it happen. But if you don't subconsciously believe these things, if you really do not believe that you can make $1 million a year, if you don't think that you can go get this $20 million mansion, right? These goals might be so big that your subconscious mind just doesn't believe it, and you don't even go anywhere because it's more of a fantasy dream. You can't actually envision yourself already there, which is what's the most important, right? So I went to lunch with Dan Fulkerson, who is a big lawyer here. Shout out to Dan Fulkerson and Bada Fulkerson. Dan is one of my biggest mentors. And when we first went to lunch years ago, Dan, I remember I was like, I want to make $50,000 a month. And Dan was like, slow down. Why don't you focus on going from, whatever I was making, $8,000 a month or $10,000 a month to 20, right? And I'm thinking, no, I don't want to make 20. I want to make 50. And he said, look, if you train your brain to set a goal and it's unrealistic and you don't hit it, your brain will get in the habit of setting goals and not hitting it. So every time you tell yourself, I'm going to do this, and you don't, your brain starts to lose trust with you, just like if a friend was constantly lying to you. One time would be okay, but if you have a friend who's consistently lying to you, you're eventually not going to believe anything they say. So the same is with your subconscious. So when you're setting goals, you need to identify a realistic goal that you truly believe. And sometimes, instead of taking this earth to the moon kind of jump, maybe take a step by step approach to these goals. You can always update your vision board, but just make sure you're not setting your goals unrealistic and just way too advanced. Again, the feeling of already having it and tricking your brain into think you have this is the biggest, most critical part about having a vision board. What we're going to do is we're going to go to Office Depot. My team and some of the team from Donald's team, we're all going to build vision boards together, and we're going to include it in this video. But what you're going to need is some kind of board like this that you can cut pictures out and put. You need thumbtacks, you need scissors, you need a printer where you can print out pictures, obviously color, high quality pictures is what I would go for. Google Docs, which I'll explain that in a second. And then what's most important is somewhere where you will see your vision board consistently. So the big problem is a lot of people will make a vision board and then they put it where it fits in their room in the corner. You need this. Like, I'm going to try and figure out a way to put this over my desk now where I can really focus on it, because if your brain isn't seeing these pictures and you're not focusing on this multiple times a day, it's useless, right? Now, why did I say Google Docs? When I make a vision board, I will pull up a Google Docs file that is the size of a paper, and I will print pictures and I'll put them on there. That way you know the size of your pictures, you print them out and they fit inside of one of these size papers, and then you can actually cut them to fit on the board. So let's go to the store and let's make this happen. All right, let's go. Holy 56 bucks a piece?
What?
Jesus Christ.
We can do a poster.
No, we'll do it right. Actual size Shaq.
Is it actually?
Is it actually? I think his arms are a little bigger than that. Oh. Actually, no, dude, that's actual size.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? All right, I think 200's enough, right? Yeah. Okay, cool. We got everything?
Yeah.
Yes, yeah, yep. Thank you.
You guys want to see my stuff?
Hello.
All right, I'm here with
Rachel Villegas.
Raymond. Eric, howdy.
Julia.
Describe to me, what did you put on your vision board and why did you put it on there?
Okay, so I've got a remodeled bathroom. We just bought a house and definitely bathroom needs to be remodeled, so that's a goal. Got this super cute picture of a family of 4. I have a 2-year-old daughter, but definitely a goal to have another one soon. We want to start camping a little bit more. The main goal is probably like a sick-ass motorhome one day, but realistic baby steps. Sick-ass mom car, obviously. Having a house with a pool, San Diego makes the most sense. Trip to Mexico this year. And then last one, I definitely want to put more into my own mental and physical health by exercising more,
So to start off, I got a minimum of $500 a day. Then I want to have, by the end of the year, I want to have 10 grand saved. I want to have a new car by the end of the year, preferably a Sentra, one of those new Nissan Sentras. And of course, the ultimate Yu-Gi-Oh collection by the end of the year, of course, that's the goal.
Nice.
So first of all, I have my dream car right here. It's always been a Toyota Supra. I've dreamed about it for a long time. Second thing I have, making good money, like good income, and it's something that's definitely I'm capable of being here. Traveling, I love experiencing new places. The fourth one, it's about work. You actually have to put in work to climb up because it's not just gonna come to you, so you gotta actually work towards your goal, not let it come to you. This is like a little inspiration. Push yourself because no one else is going to do it for you, and that's very inspiring. That's not just with work, but with working out. The last thing, I love raving, so EDC Vegas has always been a dream of mine, so hopefully I can go this year.
So my first picture is traveling because I want to adventure and travel more. I have always wanted a dog, and that is one of my biggest goals this year, alongside with getting a studio of my own. I'm in a position in my career where I can afford that, so that's my next goal. And then also being a buff muscle mommy.
Amazing.
Shot tree with the Draco. On the north got Diego. Say hasta luego. We'll be in rapping kilo. Snub nose with potato. Take out. No monkey in the jungle, fly high like a sauna. Bouncing off and I'm trying to weep an anaconda. Jumping in the water, trying to slip across the water. Got see yours out, got me beat by Verona. Out begging money.
Yeah, look. Time-lapse. This isn't a coffee shop, Julia. What? All right, guys, so we have printed everything out. Sorry to all the trees that we murdered today, but we'll recycle. But we went through a bunch of pictures. We cut them out, and, you know, you want to sort of place them here. Like, I haven't tacked anything in yet or glued it. It's all just, like, floating here. What I do is I place things around, and I make sure that, one, it looks good, and it's not, like, chaotic. Things aren't on top of each other, and it actually kind of flows. So what I do is I make sure that everything looks good, and then it's in place, and then that's when I go through and I start to actually secure them onto the board. Just thought that that was an important piece, because if you don't do that, your board comes out looking kind of chaotic and sort of messes with the flow of the visualization. Okay, so here is a bonus tip. I created an album just for my photos that are on my vision board, and I suggest that you spend 10 minutes in the morning and 10 minutes in the evening dedicated to this. So if you take a look at what is on your vision board, like I put all of the photos in here, and you actually focus on one or two of these things in the morning and in the evening, and you put yourself in the position of already having it, right? So for instance, if you want a car, you're gonna look at the outside, the inside of the car, and you need to feel what it's like to actually have that thing, right? But when it comes to manifesting, the science behind it isn't just thinking of it and then it happens, right? The whole goal of changing your belief around this is so that you start to change your actions. So don't just visualize, but when you're looking at this, for example, let's say that you want this Rolex, right? What are the steps that you have to take to get this? Do you need to make a little extra money and start putting it away to make this happen? Well, you need to not only visualize having it, but you need to visualize the steps that you're going to have to take to get it. So create an album on your phone, look at one or two of the photos every day, feel it, feel what it's like to have these things, like the weight on your wrist of having this watch on there, and then create the step-by-step actions to make it happen. Okay, so I finished the vision board. The whole team, all of us from my team and some guys from Donald's team worked on their vision boards also. But I want to go through some of these and explain a little bit about why I added some of the things on here and then the techniques that I use for visualization. So let's start out with the first thing, which I think is where your focus really kind of attracts to. So the reason why I put service to others is you don't receive things unless you're serving other people. And really, regardless of whether you receive stuff or not, meaning karma, whatever you want to call it. So I think that service to others, helping other people, going out of your way to make sure that you can lift somebody else up, I think that that is so critical, and that's why this was something very similar in my last vision board, right in the center, and it's here. Rolex date just, nothing crazy, nice Rolex, just the next piece that I want to get. G-Wagon, no need to say why I want the G-Wagon, but it is nice that it's a heavy vehicle write-off because it meets a certain weight. You can write it off on your taxes. The M5 competition, right Right now I have a BMW M235. I'm kind of over it and I'm ready to move on. As you know, I'm in the middle of getting my pilot's license, so I'm flying a lot, racking up my hours. Want to continue that. Your network is your net worth. I want to continue to network. This year I got into the rooms of guys like Brad Lee, David Meltzer, and a lot of very, very quiet but successful people. And when you start to network with people like that, you start to think like them, you start to act like them, and you start to meet the people that they're around. The Joe Rogan Experience. I want to be on Joe Rogan's podcast. I want to meet Joe Rogan. I want to learn everything I can from that guy. $50,000 per month for my new business, WeHuntClients.com. We're in between $5,000 and $10,000 a month right now, and that's recurring, and we're just going to keep scaling that up. 100,000 YouTube subscribers. That's an obvious one. This is a stage and a big crowd. I want to do some public speaking. I want to start to get to build my personal brand outside of just video and actually getting in person and speaking and then getting paid tons of money to speak. So this is actually one that I did a couple years ago for one of my companies that was, when I first did this, was worth, I don't know, maybe $100,000 total. Now it's worth close to 5 million, probably more than that. But I made this little fake news article of the local company selling, and it's got all my name and everything, selling for $21.7 million. So that's something that I want to do. Blue belt in jiu-jitsu. I've been training for a little over 2 years in jiu-jitsu. My gym promotes pretty slow compared to other gyms. Some gyms you can get your blue belt in like a year. Obviously, nice house with a pool. Right now we live in a condo downtown, which is great, but now we have 3 dogs. We need more space. Anyways, this is my vision board. I'm gonna stare at this constantly. It's gonna be right behind my desk. So when I'm working, I'm gonna look at it, and I dedicate at least 10 minutes in the morning and 10 minutes in the evening to sit, look at it, and kind of contemplate and visualize what it would be like to have these. If you want something, you gotta figure out somebody that has that thing that you want, and you need to emulate what they're doing and what got them to that position. So anyways, I hope this helped you guys. Please drop a comment, like, subscribe, all that good stuff. I'd love to hear what you guys have. And DM me on Instagram with your vision board if you guys do choose to do one, and let us know if you guys need help. All right, peace.
And the gun.